Alright, hello and welcome everyone. This is Gump and we're going to be doing the Falcon Lost strategy today. I really am excited to upload this video because I really love helping the community out, especially when I think it's going to help this many people out on something that's so important in the game. I really do believe that this is going to be the best strategy that exists on the internet and the easiest strategy because we've came up with a few things of our own that are definitely different than anything I've seen anyone else do, and that is the key to this thing, is the stuff that we came up with, and you'll see it here in the video in just a minute. I'm going to break down each player and what they should be running. It's not very difficult to have exactly what I'm saying. Pretty much any group can put this together quite easily, and it's also going to help you beat this on hard if you're still having trouble with hard. It's definitely going to help out the casual player, and that's kind of the goal of this. That's what we worked on so hard, and I'm going to leave the name and the credits of all the guys that worked on this with me. It's a group effort. It definitely wasn't just my ideas. We worked for probably 24 hours straight this weekend playing challenging to come up with a brand new strategy to release on the internet for you guys. The group that I beat it with, we've never played together before. It was subscribers from my YouTube channel. They're not no-life gamers like I am. And so, you know, these guys have lives, and they, you know, they had general gear on and stuff, and we went and beat it with this strategy. So I hope that's encouraging to you. Alright guys, so let's talk about player 1 here. Player 1 is the role that I ran in our group. This is the tank and the healer of the group. If you want to see my exact build, you can find that on my channel. It's a tank build specifically designed for Falcon Lost and running challenging with this strategy. So you're going to want to try to get a 4-piece tactician, and you're going to want to have around 27,000 skill power, because what we want to do is max out our skill power around 50,000 when we're buffed up. This is going to allow our skills to be maxed, and the other stats are not so important. As long as you have the 27,000 skill power, you can move the other stuff in between firearms and stamina as you wish. And whether you want to do a little bit more DPS, I currently run 130,000 health on my build, for example. You could go lower health, potentially down to 100,000 or something with this build, and end up doing more firearms and more damage yourself. So for the skills, we're going to run the ammo station, which is going to give us about 5,000 heals per second, and we're going to be getting skill recovery for that as well as our teammates, and it's going to give us a way for our teammates to revive off of the bag. We're also going to be running smart cover, and our talents, we're going to go and choose between triage, battle buddy, and critical save, and strike back, or you can choose combat medic and mix those in and out as you wish. So the player is going to keep heals down and is going to keep smart cover down, offering around 5,000 heals per second with his ammo station, and is going to provide a 75% damage mitigation for his teammates and a 50% damage buff to his teammates while they are in cover, and we're going to show you here in a minute how we keep cover up the entire time. Alright, so let's talk about player 2, which is going to be a DPS player. You want this to be a balanced build. This is the only other player that's going to have a requirement with a kind of need, as the first player needed to have 4-piece tacticians. This player is only going to need to make sure that they have enough skill power to make sure that their extended cover is going to be a 1 million point shield. This is vitally important for what we're doing here, and it's a lot of the reason that people are failing the mission right now, is that their shield strength is just not powerful enough. And it's going to be mightily important in the later rounds, and you'll see when I get to it in the video here in a second. So we're going to run for the skills on this, the extended cover as stated before. Obviously we're going to be using this as the main way to provide cover for our team and allow all 4 teammates to get on to 1 shield at a time. And then this person is also going to run status effects, which is the healing station, and this is going to allow us to not get knocked off of our shield and to handle drones and seeker mines when things come at us and create a status effect on us, which is the main thing that gets people killed in this mission. The talents that you want to run, I only suggest 2 for the rest of the players, and the rest doesn't matter, and that's talents on the move and critical save. This provides you with 30% damage reduction when you're on the move, so when you're not on your shield and you end up killing something, you get a 30% damage mitigation, and critical save, when you use a med kit, you get 40% damage mitigation. Your tank build with the player 1 is going to be a little more tanky, so he doesn't really need these type of things, and he's going to be providing smart cover, so this is going to help players when the shield does go down. The player is going to be responsible for putting the shield down and getting status effects down when drones come to keep you from being knocked off the shield or affected by status effects, and then the rest of the time his primary purpose is to make sure that he's doing DPS and killing things. Alright, so for player 3, we're going to be doing about any build you want, as long as it is based around doing DPS. The skills that we're going to run are going to be status effects, and it's going to be a secondary status effects pretty much, because this person is likely to have low skill power, and you'd probably rather have them have a lower skill power and a higher DPS. So this is going to be your main DPS player. This person is also going to run Pulse, which is going to be one of the 2 pulses that you're going to have in your group, and pretty much your only job as this player is to just DPS, provide extra heals when necessary, and keep down the status effects when the other player doesn't have them down to keep you from getting knocked off the shield. Pretty simple, straightforward. Run your DPS build as normal. There's not too much to worry about. Just kill stuff. Alright, so for player 4, we're going to call this guy the burrito guy, because that's pretty much what he needs to do, is sit up there, eat burritos, and stay alive. That's the only job he has. He's going to stay up in the window. If you notice in the video, the only thing you see are 3 guys down in the hole. The other guy doesn't jump out of the window. This is the key to the strategy. By not jumping out of the window, you're going to see that he is able to draw the fire of the APC, which is what causes your shield to get knocked down every time the APC fires at you. By keeping a guy up in the window, we never have to worry about the APC shooting at us, which makes this mission so much easier. So, what can this guy do to help your team besides eat burritos? Well, number 1, he can run a high skill power build because he's not going to be doing any fighting himself, and he can run pulse and seeker mines, and he can throw out pulses with the extended range on them to pulse targets and help you see targets. He can also help you seeing targets by calling out targets in comms. So when he sees things spawn and where they're coming from, or when they're about to come down into the hole with you, he can let you know these things. And he can also use his seeker mines and throw them out the window and CC enemies with his seeker mines with the gas that explodes. And this can hit multiple enemies. There is a spawn location right underneath this player, and so that's one of the best ways that he could be made use of. But his number 1 job is to simply stay alive. Reinforce this to the burrito guy. Eat your fucking burrito and stay alive. There's nothing more annoying than being in round 10 and the burrito guy decides he wants to start DPSing. Sit up there, eat your burritos, and enjoy the ride. It's a free ride for the burrito guy.
Look what I did. I stood here. Sometimes I shoot here, la 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 la, and then like la la, and pools and dancing.
Alright, so let's get back to the stuff that actually matters. The people that are actually doing all the work, not the burrito guy. So we're going to go into the strategy now and talk about this from round 1 on. We're going to talk about a few different things that we do along the way. This is going to be a kind of overview. I'm going to try to keep it short. And then we're going to tomorrow have another video where I actually go through the entire gameplay. And you can hear us talking, and you can see some of the stressful moments that we still go through, even though the strategy is much easier than some of the other stuff out there. And you can hear our callouts, and then I'm going to provide some commentary over that for people that are looking for a more detailed description of how exactly we ran things, and to help people out that are struggling even after they use this strategy. So let's get into round 1. Alright, so round 1's pretty straightforward. We're just going to be hanging out up here in the window area and letting the APC shoot at us while taking out the NPCs on the ground. I don't like jumping down in the first round because there's a shotgun wave and it's just really difficult to deal with, and you end up wasting some tactical links that you shouldn't waste probably. So just stay up here, hang out for round 1, kill all the NPCs. I hang back as the tank and throw down smart cover and heals, and my teammates kill all the stuff. This takes a little time, it's a little tedious, but just get through it, get past it, and move on to the beef of the mission, which is actually going down in the tunnel. And remember, leave the burrito guy behind. He's going to be eating his burritos while you go do all the work. Alright, so as soon as round 2 starts, you're going to get the wave thrown at you, so you need to get into the hole and get things going. Get your shield on the ground, get your smart cover on, get your status effects down, get your ammo station down, and get your pulses up, and get ready for the first wave. This is what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to stay on your toes in this. There's no way around it, especially the tank guy. His number 1 and only priority is to keep that smart cover rolling 100% of the time. If it goes down, the shield takes more damage, you're taking more damage, and with the shield up and the smart cover up, you are almost never going to die as long as someone has status effects up and you can't be knocked off the shield. So just keep on that smart cover, keep your heals up. If you got those things and you can stay on the shield, you cannot die. You have like 90-some% damage mitigation. These things can't kill you. This is how you get it done, and this is pretty much the basic strategy to what we're going to do. As you notice, the APC is not shooting at us, and this is kind of what you're going to do in every round. So let's just move forward here and talk about some of the different things that are going to happen in some different rounds real quick. Alright, so in round 3, you're going to get hit right away with drones, and that means that the guys with the status effects become very, very important. You have to have your status status effects down if you're going to play this strategy, because you're going to be out in the open actually taking damage straight from these things. If you get knocked off your shield and a shotgunner comes down, you are probably going to get killed because of the way you have your character set up. So it is extremely important to make sure that someone says status effects, get them down, like communicate and talk to each other and get those status effects down to handle this first wave of drones that come at you. And this is also going to be important later on with seeker mines and some of the grenade explosive damage that comes later on in the later rounds. Alright, round 4 is the first major shotgun round that we're going to get, and it can be a little overwhelming for people going in for the first time, for sure. I've died here a number of times, but with this strategy, you're not really going to have too much issue with it as long as you do what I've told you to do, which is to get down your smart cover, get down your healing stations, make sure the shield has good health. You need to be reapplying the shield sometimes, and definitely stay on this side. It definitely seems to be a lot more viable to stay on this side of the room, and sometimes you can move it further in or further away depending on what you need to do. When you're dealing with some of the sniper rounds, you may want to move it more out in the open and reposition the shield and shoot the snipers from the shield if you can line of sight them that way. But you can see we can take a lot of damage here. These shotgun guys are not much of a challenge to us once we get the shield up and we have our smart cover rolling, and this is the whole strategy. And notice once again, the APC, we're out in the open, the APC is not shooting us, and it lets us open up the room a little bit more, and we don't have to worry about the APC at all here. And you can see once you get through the shotgunners, then everything calms down, and make sure you're reapplying your shield when your shield health gets low, and you should be good to go for a few rounds after that until you get to the next big round, which is round 8. Alright, so after you get through rounds 5 and 6, which are a regular round and a sniper round, you'll notice that we get drones on round 7, and this is what happens if you don't have status effects down. Everyone gets knocked off the shield will go down, and everyone will get killed. And I want to also emphasize that this is one of the reasons that I like having a tanky build. Our group would have wiped here had I not had 130,000 HP here and the protection versus elites and all the things that I run on that tank build. So if you'd like to see that tank build, once again, it's on my channel. You should go check it out. You can see here the ability for my build to get us through a situation that most groups would have died in here. And it's all about being a tank. Another thing that I do with my tank build is suppress. So sometimes you'll see me in the video that I upload tomorrow where I actually end up when teammates are DPSing against snipers and things, one of the things I'll do is suppress one enemy as they're shooting at other enemies, and that will help them DPS and take out characters. And you can see here that's an automatic death if I don't have 130,000 health. And so a really tanky build definitely is something I recommend. It may be a little bit slower than if you ran firearms and had DPS with your tactician build for the 4-piece guy, the player number 1 that's doing the smart cover, but you may save yourself more time in the long run by not wiping in situations like this. And I end up getting these guys up, and you'll see that in the video tomorrow. Alright, so round 8's going to hit, and this is when shit hits the fan. You're going to get rushed extremely fast by a number of shotgunners, sometimes having 3 or 4 guys jump in on top of you at one time. You're also going to have a hard rush of drones. So one of the things I recommend is actually having the shield underneath the scaffolding, unlike we do here. Your million-point shield out here in the open, because of all the stuff that's going on, can easily get knocked down, which is what happens to us here. And I suggest that you keep your survivor links and use them for this round, for these really big rounds like round 8 and round 11 and round 14, and save them for those and deal with these hard rushes. Once you get through this rush, you're pretty much good to go after that. And keep in mind, if you can beat this round, make this your goal if you haven't beaten this challenging mission yet. Get to round 9. If you can get to round 9, that means that you can beat this mission. You'll start understanding what you're doing wrong, but just know this and take my word for it, that if you can beat round 8, you can beat the entire mission. There is nothing that you're going to face that's that much harder than round 8. So put all your focus into that. Get to round 9. Once you get that taken care of, then you should have some confidence to know that you can beat it. Alright, so we're going to pretty much do the same strategy for rounds 9 through 15, and so I want to just talk about a few tips with the way we're running this. So what we like to do is whoever is running the smart cover, let that person stay behind, even though they're the more tanky person. Let them use their tactical link to pop before the other guy goes out, and the guy who has the shield, let him stay in the pit if possible, because what we've learned is if the guy with the shield goes out and he gets killed and the next round starts, we may not have a shield shield ready in case we get rushed. So it's just best to have the smart cover guy and the shield stay and send the other DPS, the main DPS guy, out to plant the bomb, and hopefully he has a tactical link up. If he doesn't, you may have to switch it around and do it different ways, but either way, don't worry about getting killed if you're the DPS guy. But if you go out and you are the shield guy or the smart cover guy, then you may want to try your best to get back into the pit and not die, because it could potentially cause you to wipe, and you just don't want to wipe ever because it just wastes so much of your time. Alright, another important thing that you can use is to remember to double tap your E or Q button or whatever the double tap is for you to put your shield down directly in front of you, because what can happen is when you're putting your shield down, it can actually get glitched out for some of the players and end up sideways and up in the air, and this will cause you guys to get wiped because someone won't be able to get on the shield and they'll end up getting killed when the rush comes. Alright, so a couple final tips here, and then we're going to be done here with this video. At the end, when you get into the late rounds, I suggest making two players, the two DPS players, actually both run shields and giving up the pulse. That way, when one shield gets low, you can put the other shield down and transfer to the new shield as soon as the old shield runs out. And this was a really good strategy, and it helps you from getting wiped at the end of the mission, because we don't want to be getting wiped at the very end of the mission. And the final tip that I'm going to leave you guys with is that on round 15, once you have the bomb and you're ready to go plant for the final plant, since we have Burrito Man still up there hanging out, sleeping, eating burritos, doing whatever he's doing up there, just have all three of your tactical links up and all three guys go, just to guarantee that you're going to get the plant at the end. And so let somebody hit a survivor link from the pit, and then once we get up into the room, go ahead and just hit another survivor link, and just for good measures, hit one more survivor link when we get to the tank, and that should almost 100% guarantee that you're going to finish this mission, since our fourth member is almost invincible by staying up in the room this entire time. So there you go, guys. There is the strategy for this. Objective complete, mission accomplished. I really think that you're going to find this entire strategy to be very helpful to you. Burrito Man is going to love it. When you're running missions, you guys can rotate in and out of Burrito Man and go get your gear at the end, and then switch it out and do it again. Well, if you want to. It's a hard mission to run over and over, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope it helps you guys finish challenging missions. Those of you who haven't beat it, you may want to test it out on hard. If you haven't beat hard yet, try this on hard. Use it with some of your low skill power builds, like your low builds, and just use them with skill power on them, and get it done. Get out there and get you some gear, and hopefully this just fixes some of the problems that people are having with the game and beating this. So take it easy. This is Gump. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.